Would you like to improve your success with greater creativity while having stronger relationships, better health, and increased energy? Stay tuned to learn how you can use the happiness effect to invent incredible products that result in amazing success. Hi, Lisa Lloyd here with more tips, tricks, and strategies to optimize and accelerate your invention licensing success. If you like this video, please smash the like and subscribe buttons. It's a free way to support me. And when you hit that notification bell, you'll be the first to know when I've posted a new video each and every week. Neuroscience studies show that 25% of job success is predicted by IQ. 75% is predicted by your optimism level, social support, and your ability to handle stress as a challenge instead of a threat. This was good news for me and explains how at only 23, I licensed my first product without a college degree for less than $1,000. And then I went on to do that 6 more times. I wasn't brilliant, but I was inspired, creative, and really happy doing it. That state of mind, it turns out, was what made up the difference for my age and education deficit. Most people think of happiness as the result of something, not the cause of it. We set goals and then we believe we'll be happy when we finally hit them. And to a certain extent, we are happy, but it's short lived and overshadowed by our next goal to be reached. Sean Aker helped me understand how all these things worked out for me. He's a Harvard graduate and a researcher on topics surrounding positive psychology. In his book, The Happiness Advantage, he proves that we have the goal setting success formula backwards. In the book, he lays out 7 principles and outlines some amazingly simple steps that we can take to make the paradigm shift in our thinking and then fast track our success. I've put a link here and in the description below to Sean's incredible TED Talk, in which he says, the science of happiness assumes that your external world is predictive of happiness, when in reality, if we know everything about your external world, we can only predict about 10% of your happiness. That means that 90% of your happiness is predicted by the way your brain processes the world. Okay, so I get it. Perspective is 90% of the work. If you push happiness to the other side of success, your brain never gets there. But if you change the way you see things, you can affect your outcomes. Studies show that when your brain is in a positive state, it performs 31% better than at negative, neutral, or stressed. Salespeople see an increase of 37% in sales. Doctors are 19% more accurate at diagnosing. Your intelligence and creativity and energy are optimized for better inventing, dealing with seemingly laborious work, and getting to market or licensing. Can you see how that could be helpful in your journey? In a moment, I'll share 3 tips for how you can turn your perspective around when you're struggling at any stage of the invention licensing process. But to understand what I'm about to share, let me explain quickly what positive psychology is, the scientific study of what makes life most worth living. And going a little deeper, it's a scientific approach to studying human thoughts, feelings, and behavior with the focus of strengths instead of weaknesses, building the good in life instead of repairing the bad, and taking the lives of the average people up to great instead of focusing solely on moving those who are struggling up to normal. From a neuroscience perspective, I'll put it this way. Dopamine is released in your brain when you're happy, and that does 2 things. First, there is a compounding effect, and you just keep getting happier. And secondly, it flips on the switch for all the other learning centers in your brain. And learning is what inventing is all about. So it doesn't take a fancy education or a high IQ to be successful. In fact, we use positive psychology and focus on our strengths instead of our weaknesses. And then 90% of our success can be predicted by that. So here are 3 tips that you can immediately put into practice to help you do just that. Beginning with celebrating all of your wins. I'll be the first to confess, when I heard this for the first time, I didn't even know what it meant. And then I thought, psh, that's stupid. But then I realized that I was already doing it in small ways. I began to pay attention and do it more often intentionally. And it's really helped to foster being positive and feeling good. Now, I'm not talking about going out to the bar or buying a new car when I say celebrate. I celebrate wins like when I become patent pending, or I finish a new sell sheet or pitch deck, or when I book a really great call. All of those milestones have to happen for me to ultimately get a product license. I share that with people that I trust, and they celebrate those wins with me. Maybe it's just a, hey, Lisa, that's really cool, or whatever. But the bottom line is, I find gratitude for the accomplished task and it leaves me in great spirits. And as the science I've shared would indicate, that leads to more optimism and a positive outlook that people have told me is contagious. Can you see how that can build up and overflow when you're pitching your product for license, for example? If you don't have a strong network, consider joining an inventors group. There are clubs around the country. You can find those online. But in the Invention Accelerator program, we have a mastermind group, for example, that encourages everyone to do this. We ask everyone to share their wins so that the whole community can celebrate that together. And as you can imagine, it ends up encouraging others in the process too. My second tip for you is to think about what you're thinking about. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in what appears to be a negative experience that we don't even realize the dark train of thought that is spiraling or about to spiral out of control beneath the surface. There are so many psychology and neuroscience studies that support that when we're positive, our brains become engaged, creative, motivated, energetic, resilient, and productive. But if you've been emotionally hijacked, you can end up stuck and confused and unable to creatively problem solve whatever it is that's standing in the way of your success. When you think about what you're thinking about, you take back the control and you can shift your thinking to the wins and put yourself back in a positive state. Now, I know firsthand how difficult it can be when setbacks happen. And the bigger the setback, the harder it is to recover. So, tip number 3 is to take breaks and walk away sometimes. Go do something that makes you happy and go back to whatever it is that's challenging you again when you're feeling inspired. I talk more about that in this video, and I'll put a link in the description below for you. But the essence here is that you have to give your brain a break, just like your body a break after working out, so that your muscles can recover. So, as I said, if happiness is on the other side of success, your brain never gets there. And if your brain can't get there, neither will you. So, you have to find a way to be more positive in the moment so that your brain can be optimized for success. And the science proves that you will improve your productivity at least 30% with the right formula. And in a business that is already has a low success rate, 30% could be the tipping point of your success. And all the while, you've got to enjoy the journey along the way. If you have any questions or you'd like to know how to build your own invention licensing business, book a free strategy call with me using the link below. If you like this tutorial, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Dare to dream and imagine what's possible when powered by innovation.